dot on your
calm down.
on your
I beat him
dual
for you. He's gone.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter. Roots seems to be his captain. Roots can do it too.
Dawn, you didn't beat anything. You just misunderstood the whole premise, Dawn.
No, well, you put a red dot on the two-pole flat Earth model of where the GP of the sun is when you're looking south at 79 degrees south at the sun in the sky. Sorry?
Dawn, your ego is interrupting.
I'd like to see where the GP of the sun is, according to that model.
The same, bro. It's the same.
I think we should get E1 in here.
Where would it be? Where would it be then, Dawn? Where would you think it would be, Dawn?
Some positions the same. The issue they have is people on the top other side still see some of the sun, like a Pac-Man sun, which Rick actually recognized by saying the sky has to be bending it around. So even he's recognized there's an issue.
You still haven't placed a dot anywhere. You still haven't told me where you think it could be or how you're going to go about trying to find out. I fucking tell you, it's in the same place as the globe. So did they. You didn't listen to them or me. Well, where could you place that dot on the two-pole flat Earth model then, Dawn?
I made a fucking drawing for you. Maybe you can't even see the text.
Oh, I hadn't even looked at the text. I generally don't because it's a bit distracting. No, I'm not an idiot, Dawn. I'm the one asking the question.
It's past the pole in the ocean bit, same as the globe. Yeah, so AE's debunked, dual pole and globe still going. But they can't describe any real world things. They just have to say it works.
Well, depends how you position the map, isn't it? Depends how you position the map under the. No, it depends how you position the map under the dual pole system, isn't it?
It's their system. They've already mapped it. It's a projection.
No, they haven't. They just placed the map under some circles.
No, it's a rough projection of reality, which they got from the globe. I wonder why the globe is correct.
Why is that southeast? Why have you put the yellow dot southeast?
Yeah, because weren't they the other side of Antarctica to that, seeing it?
Well, I just said 79 degrees south. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so shall I do it again with 79? But this is the real point, right? It went right behind the South Pole into the ocean.
Well, if you depends on where you position that map underneath it, right? Because is that? I mean,
This is how they positioned it because they think that fits.
It's how they positioned it.
They've got Magic Ocean all the way around, the same as the AE mapped it.
But the almanac. What will the almanac say? Will it place that GP above a landmass?
Does the almanac even give sun GPs? Or did you get that?
You can get that from the declination of the sun.
So you got that mixed up with stars.
What I'm saying is that it would place that position behind you on that map.
Behind you, as in further south than the pole?
Well, if it's flat or if it's dual pole, then you're going outwards, all right? And now where those yellow dots, you're going out beyond the landmass. You're going out into the unknown.
This one.
Yeah, you're going out into the unknown, right? So the further circle is either the limit of flat Earth Or it's the edge of the unknown lands.
And ocean.
Whatever's beyond there.
ElderBear, but who knows? And does it really debunk the dipole model? No, it doesn't.
Well, he said that the GPs are the same. The almanac's the same.
Right, but when you get to the extreme south, I would say you need to be a little bit more open-minded, because what we're dealing with, we don't know. We can't verify. You can use the almanac.
Well,
and
how can you say the almanac and the GPs are the same then? How can you say that?
But when it gets to the extreme north and extreme south, you get differences in the magnetic, the field lines, right? So you are going to get different
you
phenomena.
don't know that, do you?
But this is how but if we're going to use the coordinate system takes declination into account. So we know it to be true if we're going to agree on the coordinate system. So you need to keep that in mind. There are differences at the pole, or the so-called pole. So this it's not really a problem for the dual pole model. And I'm sure E1 has addressed this directly.
No, he hasn't.
He has. He's talked about
he may have talked about it, but not to me.
At the outer lands. He has. Yeah. So what I'm saying is this isn't necessarily a problem for the dual pole model. What's your motivation here? Because you say that flat Earth needs a model, but you're like, I don't know, you're acting like it's invalidated by something that, I don't know, it's not really, this isn't necessarily an issue. We don't know what the sun is.
Well, I noticed you've come on board with it, Roots. You weren't with this model a while ago. This model
I'm not with anything. I'm not with anything apart from I don't want it shut down because I don't see any valid reason for it to be shut down. And I was interested in your point of view, because if there was a valid reason, I'm happy to shut it down.
I'm just asking questions about. Yes, I have. I'm asking questions about what's being presented to me. You're presenting this. Now you're on it with
questions about what's. No, but ElderBear, your approach is you're asking questions about what's beyond the outer limits of this world. We don't know.
Well, according to the GPs,
you're trying to confirm that.
Hang on. According to the GPs, it is known.
No, but when it comes to the far south, at the end of the day, we're not going to get that same exactness with the GPs when it comes to the rest of the land mass, because we can see the declination differences, and you can see there's a convergence. Something happens different at the poles, so-called poles, than across the rest of the landmass. So if this has already been talked about and explained in the dual pole, there's no way to confirm that the GP of the sun in the position you're saying is actually, like, we can't make any tangible claims about that. But this is already accounted for and makes sense on E1's model.
You can if the almanac and the GP star system relates to the land that we know.
Right, but we don't know the land in the far south. We haven't confirmed the land in the far south.
We know about the land that is there, though.
It relates, Ola, as much as the AE map relates. Where
well, you know that the way you put your yellow on from your position, where you put the yellow marks on there, right, is round the other side of the ball, right?
This is not the ball, this is the dual pole. But on a ball, it's the other side, yeah.
Okay, and then you'll be heading north now, aren't you?
It wraps around, yeah. That's why flat projection never works.
It wraps around, and so those yellow dots are actually behind you.
Yeah, but you have to go there and have the observations to show it's from both sides to make them realize.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the observation, and asking questions about the observation. And if so you have an answer for yourself where those yellow marks are in your model. I'm asking about the flat Earth and the dual pole model, where their answer is.
Yeah,
about where the GP of the sun would be.
They can't
trust. They aren't going to say it's behind them. Are they saying it's behind them?
According to the almanac, according to the GPs, is it behind them or beyond them?
This is a projection.
Why are you defending it? Why are you defending it then, Dawn?
So that you understand, things can be projected and where the actual issue is in that.
It's flat. That's what the representation is, that it's flat.
And is that the issue?
Well, that's just a question. If it's flat, then it's going outwards. It's not returning on itself. It's like
there's a mystery
same as the problem with the computer. Yes, well, here's a mystery, yeah. But, I thought by asking questions, you might get closer to the mystery.
You could help them realize it's a globe, couldn't you, more honestly, like I do?
You can do what you want. I'm just asking questions about what's presented to me. If you presented it, what you present it as, I can ask questions about that as well. But
how are you going to debunk this while debunking the globe? That's not going to make sense.
It's questions about, well, if they happen to both be false, then okay. What else could you do?
Model then.
I don't have a model.
Oh dear. So you're not going to be able to play at the big boys table.
No. I mean, you're happy to have your model. I don't have your model.
Little Miss.
And I don't have Roots' model. I don't have this two-pole model. No, because I'm still asking questions about it. If it doesn't make sense, how can I take it on?
So how can you use the globe to debunk their model if you don't think it's a globe?
Because they're using the almanac, and the almanac and the GPs relate to the land that we know.
Yeah, but do they prove it's a ball?
It doesn't matter whether it does or it doesn't.
Yeah, it does matter for your argument.
No, it doesn't. It's just a coordinate system.
It does. Because if you're not saying it proves the ball not flat, how are you debunking the flat?
Well, if they're using the almanac, then it is what it is.
But you don't dare say.
And if that relates to this, then they're going to come to the same conclusion.
You don't dare say.
They'll come to the same conclusion. The land is behind them. The GP is behind them.
Like a globe.
Whatever.
Yeah, if you dared say and tell them, they'd be able to take you more seriously.
No, I don't know. I don't know. If the almanac's not mine, there's lots of problems for them with the almanac. All right, using the almanac is lots of problems.
Really?
It's not mine. I'm just asking questions about those things, to do with those things, to do with the things that are said to be the constants.
But you never win a debate because they. No, you're not.
I'm not after debate. I'm not after debate, Dawn. I was just asking a question. Some people get upset about the questions.
You have to really hammer it in by saying, this fits the fucking globe, boys.
Well, I don't have to hammer it in at all. I don't have to. It's not for me to do that, is it? I'm just asking questions about what I observe from what's been put in front of me.
Yeah, they said the almanac fits.
Okay, well, there you go then. That's what the question is. You can go back to it, go and find out.
Nothing wrong with your question in ElderBear. It's just you're asking about what's beyond the edge of Antarctica, and that's something that we can't verify. But the question doesn't insinuate.
Is the GP beyond the edge of Antarctica? Is that what you're saying?
So the question doesn't debunk the dual pole model. Question doesn't debunk the dual pole model. The question is interesting. And the question, and I know E1 has an explanation for this. Whether anyone believes it is irrelevant. But I'm saying his answer is still consistent, that the coordinate system would still apply to the dual pole model, and you can still create the known land masses, and the daylight works, the distances works when you understand the magnetic, the declination and the way that the coordinate system works. Then you've got some consistency. You've got more consistency here than the globe.
So are you included in this 5, 6, 7 people on the whole internet who's talking about this?
No, dude. Honestly, I'm
you
just
to know a lot about it. So I just wondered if you're one of those. Because you weren't talking about this a while ago.
Why would I comment on it without looking into it?
You had angles to Polaris not so long ago, didn't you? That's where you're at.
No, listen,
that was your thing until TFE came along, and now you've switched.
No, I haven't switched.
And now those distances that you claimed before, all right?
But what I'm
not
about,
consistent,
ElderBear,
so you don't want to use those.
ElderBear, listen, what I'm
Horizontal
about is
distances, aren't
progress.
they? They are horizontal.
That's all I care about.
Yes, I know.
The conversation
But they are
being
horizontal
had.
distances, aren't they, Roots?
ElderBear, you keep talking, and then when he goes to respond, you will cut him off. So say something, then shut up so somebody else can reply instead of interrupting him. That's rude, dude.
Yeah, you are talking
do it to me,
asking me a question and talking
not.
through me.
ElderBear, quit interrupting people.
And he interrupts me.
Not really, ElderBear.
But that's fine.
Not really.
When anybody interrupts me,
all
it's
I
fine.
hear is you interrupting people. I don't hear anybody interrupting you. I hear you interrupting everybody. So maybe you should stop and listen for a minute.
Yeah, you don't need to make this about New Perspective, me, or anybody. Like, at the end of the day, if there's a new idea being discussed and it's consistent, then it's worth discussing. There's no need to shut it down. The questions you're asking are actually unanswerable, even though E1 has, in general terms, answered the question. Yes, he hasn't provided the GP, position for you to go and check on. I don't know what you're going to go and check on a globe and then get a position that you can't translate to the globe. I don't know. The point is, it's kind of irrelevant when so much of the idea works and matches that it needs, the fact that it's on the table, it's a decent discussion. It's a decent discussion, and whether it's right or wrong at the moment, nothing you've said would debunk it, even if that ground position was beyond something we can verify. Right? I'm just saying it's kind of futile pushing this question so far because it's already been addressed and we can't verify that ground position.
What is E1's explanation then?
Well, he kind of says the sun moves in like a toroidal pattern, and that it kind of skirts down and skirts the edge of, at what we're calling Antarctica. And he kind of showed it that this is what the sun does, and it kind of matches with the idea that what you're saying, that the sun would be beyond the position of south. He's just kind of loosely touched on it, but he hasn't given exact GP positions. But what I'm saying is consistent with the idea that the sun is going beyond this position in the south that you're talking about. Like, yeah, you're verifying that in the coordinate system the sun must be beyond that point. Well, that's what E1 says. Can we give the numbers? No. Can E1? I don't even know if he can.
So how does the almanac relate to it then?
Well, the almanac is just what he used to verify the positions of the known land masses that we can verify, and we do have, right? What's beyond that point is up for speculation. And this kind of question can poke a hole in any idea other than the globe, because we don't know what's beyond that position. So you could use this argument for any model, really, as long as we're using the coordinate system. And you would sound like a glober.
Elder, the whole almanac projected out onto 2 discs like a record deck. It's nothing like the AE.
The dual pole is the same as the globe. It's the same coordinate system as the globe. Imagine the globe cut in half, placed, horizontally, and you end up with the same. The coordinate system kind of works with the land masses have a slight change, but in general the coordinate system works, and those GPs would match the same. That's the main point that NP was making, and it's it seems correct at this point.
If I was
what's beyond Antarctica, who knows? Who knows what's beyond Antarctica?
You end up with a mist around a sort of anti-equator, which is like an 8 shape, figure of 8. But they're saying we can't verify that stuff.
But we can at the equator, and like NP said, the sun, the observations of the sun at the equator match they do offset to the southeast or to the northwest, depending on the season, right? It's only at a certain position, a certain small area, which seems to be over Africa, where the sun is actually, in a straight line on the equator. And I think that, I haven't verified this, but it looks like it's verifiable at this point.
What I'm saying is, right, the south of south people see the same stars as the north of north people, showing that they wrap around from the top of the 8 to the bottom of the 8.
Right. But that's due to the magnetic declination. So you're getting a curved, whatever's traveling along that path will be on a curved trajectory. Yeah. What's your issue though?
It's actually more complicated than the AE, because the reflection has to be in a figure of 8, 2 circles instead of 1. It's the same type of mystery.
It's basically a toroid. Figure of 8 is that pattern of a toroid. I want this to progress because I want to know, are we going to see forces that match this magnetic declination? Are the jet streams connected, which I have a suspicion they are? Are the Foucault's pendulum, does this relate to this magnetic declination? Because now we've got something tangible to go and then verify some of the real world observations we're seeing. There could be progress made. That's why I want the discussion to continue.
The main debunk is the same as the AE flat Earth. You can't do it by looking at the stars because people say that's apparent. So you have to do it by literal traveling and prove that you Pac-Man'd. And those can debunk a flat projection. But no one seems to trust sailors or pilots or globers in a car.
No, we do, but we're just saying there's more variances when it comes to using travel in a vehicle to verify distances. And then you've got these forces, currents in the air and in the water that are following these lines, which give you inconsistencies.
You need the report. I wasn't boosted, right, I wasn't speeded, but I appeared to Pac-Man.
How do you get a report on the jet streams, dude? And
that's so
they're dynamic. They're dynamic, so you need individual daily reports.
You're not interested in looking into the real test.
Do you don't think we have jet stream data?
Yeah, of course we do, but they're dynamic, right? So they're different on different days. So if you travel on one day, the jet stream might be 250 mile an hour, and then on another day it might be 50 mile an hour.
Right.
Are you going to verify distances using travel when you get that amount of variance?
But if we're saying science could be done, and you're saying no, we can't do it, then you're the one stuck.
We have the data. Like I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, no, there's no problem. I'm saying that when you take these into account, jet streams and stuff, it can answer the questions of why long haul flights, are taking longer or shorter in certain directions. It seems to be matching up at this point. I'm not somebody who's sitting here doing research and trying to push this idea forward, but the guys who are, for example, E1 seems to be finding out actually this makes complete sense. If you do dig into the data, the jet stream data, I'm sure he's got a video where he's trying to compare some of these long haul flights, the magnetic declination and the known jet streams. I don't know how far into it he's gone.
I've done it. I've literally mapped real flights from Sydney to Santiago using the jet streams. And I think I got the time correct within like 15 minutes both times.
Right, but it's the same coordinate system as the globe, right? So,
oh, geez, do I have to ask you the same question on that map that I showed? Is it a long way from Sydney to Honolulu? You were here,
on
right?
The map you showed, with the straight line you drew. Yeah.
Is it a long way?
Longer than the dual pole? Is that what you're asking?
No. On the dual pole. Is it a long way from Sydney to Honolulu? I'll post it again. One sec.
I'll say yes. Yes, it's a long distance.
Excellent. Okay. So I think the flight from here to Sydney to Honolulu, I think is 8 hours, maybe 9 hours. Right? Do you think that's an 8-hour flight from one side of this dual pole Earth to another?
8 hours. I think 8 hours is considered a long haul flight. Yeah.
No. Given that it's 14 hours from Sydney to LA, all right. Why is it 8 hours from Sydney to Honolulu on that map?
See, these are questions you need to pose to E1, because I've heard lots of different explanations for it. Until I know more about that flight, the jet streams, the magnetic declination, the coordinates, the actual path you follow. You're not traveling in a straight line. You present it as a straight line. That's not how you're traveling.
On a globe. On a globe, it's a straight
curvature. You've got curvature.
We're not turning left to right. Wait, does it really need clarification that when I say straight line on a globe, does that really need clarification that it just means no turning left to right?
Yeah, but there are no straight lines.
Surely we're past that, right? Surely we're past that.
There are no straight lines on a globe.
Yeah, you've lost, buddy. If you're in semantics and you don't know that curve can be straight, you lost.
We're not deviating left or right. Right, we're going virtually the Great Circle route. I thought we were past.
How many videos has E1 got?
You'd have to look on New Perspectives channel. He's got a few. I think he's got more on his own channel. Type E1 dual pole. You'll probably find it. But I'm the wrong person.
Right? On his own YouTube channel, right?
I think New Perspective has them on his channel,
but not E1.
Well, E1's got his own little short presentations, but New Perspective asked some of these questions specifically, and he goes into more detail. So I'd probably say he goes into more detail in his videos with New Perspective.
I thought E1 was the expert on this.
Well, it's E1's model we're discussing at the moment, so yeah, he would be the expert.
I said he's only got 10 videos. There's only about 5 or 6 in the last couple of months that anything to do with this. It's a bit like Heffron. Or who's the other one? I mean, you're talking for him. You're the one who's saying he has the answers. But you know, that's why I thought you'd have the answers, because you knew what his answers.
I'm more just trying to justify the conversation's validity. That's all I'm doing. I'm not here to argue for a dual pole flat Earth. I'm not buying into any model.
All right, so if the globe says that the GP of the sun is behind you, how are you going to address that?
See, I just think you're looking at it wrong. I think using GPs to determine what's happening at the southernmost point on the Earth is making a few assumptions.
Purely because he said that the almanac still relates. The GPs and the star system still relates to the dual pole model.
But he also makes corrections. He also makes corrections based on perspective. He also makes corrections based on I can't remember exactly what, but he makes a 33-degree correction, and he has a little system, a little tool that he uses, and you can get the actual position. You'd have to watch his videos, dude. You'd have to watch his videos to see how he's doing.
I'll ask him next time he's around, because you don't seem to know. But
no, I don't.
If the almanac has a position, and the almanac applies to the two-pole flat Earth model, and the almanac says that the GP is behind you, I wonder how that can be explained.
Where?
On the two-pole model.
What model?
on the
Oh, and ElderBear, I support you. I want these questions answered as well because I want progress to be made. But at the end of the day, we know we're not living on a ball, and you claim to say you don't believe we live on the ball Earth, on the heliocentric ball. So if we know it's not a ball and we know it's not an AE depiction, then what's the problem with an emerging character fixing a lot of the issues that we have, because we don't have a globe and we don't have an AE map? So we're in new territory. We're in territory of not being able to confirm what's beyond the land masses. So there are going to be questions that can't be answered at this point. What's wrong with that?
I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I was asking the question. I'm saying there's anything wrong with it. Just looking for, an answer, whether that's known or it's not known. Just an answer.
Yeah. I support you. I support you.
Muted, not to be kicked off, not to give 7 days, ban like Geo did when I asked him a question. That's not what I expect. It just makes me think there's somebody wants to hide, or they don't, they can't say they don't know at the same time as claiming they do know.
I have a question.
I don't know anybody who's been kicked for asking genuine questions. I think the way you conduct
I got
yourself
kicked the other day from Geo. No, you say that. But people can do that to me, and they're allowed to do that. Other people can do it, and they're allowed to do that. Except me, it seems. But, it's early days. It's early days, and I'm asking questions like I do about the flat Earth. Because that's what I came to look for. That's what I came to check out, to see if that actually has any place in my reality. All right, I'm not here looking at the globe. That's not what I was looking for. I was just asking questions from the people who said that we've been wrong all this time, and we have an answer to it. So I just asked questions about that.
Yeah, but if it's not a heliocentric ball, then there's space. Yeah, go ahead, whoever has that question.
The dual pole model is the only reason we're looking at the dual pole model because of the PFE, or is there additional information that I'm missing?
No. So the dual pole model's been around for years. It's only picked up popularity since TFE from sort of your mainstream flat earthers. And I say mainstream flat earthers, I mean people who are not actually building a model or trying to figure things out for themselves. But the dual pole model has become more popular because New Perspective has put some of E1's work in the foreground, although he was doing this work before TFE. And there's other dual polars as well who have been going way longer than TFE and said, yeah, there's a 24-hour sun, but it's because of this. But nobody really paid attention before TFE.
Can I explain a bit more, Matt?
Of course.
The AE map puts what the Globers say is a point at the bottom of a ball. They put that as a whole edge ring. And ever since they did that, that's made this mystery of what is past the south. There's more stars, and a sun. And if the final experiment doubled down on this claim that the sun goes behind the edge, which is different to the AE model that everyone was believing. So this has come up as a way to explain some of the stars and some of the sun observations.
Some people believed the AE model was a real depiction. Not all flat
even if they thought it was the best,
definitely not the 24/7 flat earthers. No, but I mean, in 24/7, we've been saying for years there is no model. We don't back an AE model, and yeah, that's been pretty consistent. There's a whole bunch of flat earthers who've never subscribed to a model.
But at the same time, you described the model. You said you didn't have a model, but you described the model. Yeah. You painted an image of a model. All right.
What, with the AE with the AE depiction?
Yes. That depicts that. You just said it wasn't that, but you described like celestial navigation. It is exactly that in the north.
You can use the AE model with the coordinate system. We're not saying
and that reinforced the AE image.
Yeah, for some flat earthers thought that was the real layout and depiction of the Earth, but that's because the coordinate system works and it can be used for navigation. So I can understand how a layman would jump to the conclusion and think, well, this is the flat Earth model, right?
But then you come to the
people who were
distances that were
serious
mentioned with that, right? Okay, and the numbers that were mentioned with they then came into play. All right, and to reinforce
about
that.
flat Earth, but the people who were serious about flat Earth knew full well that this model cannot be verified and that there's inconsistencies. Just like the globe, there are questions that cannot be answered. So there was a position that we're not. It's not flat Earth isn't about a model. Flat Earth is really about debunking the idea of the globe.
Yeah, I understand.
We're all in the same boat.
But you say it's not about a model, but then you paint a model, you describe a model, and you give numbers to it. Maybe you're not giving those numbers now, but numbers were being given fairly recently.
What numbers? The coordinate system works. The GPs,
with celestial navigation, deriving latitudes, 1 degree to 69 miles. That was the language. That was the rhetoric. That was the rhetoric that painted the picture of the flat Earth, as I became to know it from the people who said it. I didn't make it. I'm just addressing the people who say that and the implications of that.
Yeah, but if there's a backwards engineering happened, then that would make sense, and it would be consistent, and the coordinate
exactly.
system
So for those, so those people who say that the globe came from Earth measurements, then some of those measurements would be the same. And so where were they on flat Earth? Where are they on flat Earth? Those measurements that correspond with the globe.
Dude, I just explained this. I don't need to explain myself again. There's no
they are 69 miles per degree.
Just because there's a coordinate system doesn't mean we have a model of the Earth. We have a grid
69
system.
miles per 1 degree to Polaris, horizontal flat Earth measurements. Then we have it describes the model.
But your questions are loaded. They're loaded in a way like, just because a grid coordinate system works, we know the size of every continent. We know the shape of every continent.
No, it's nothing.
That's a massive assumption.
About continents.
Right. So the layout, the distances could be correct, but the layout could be different. Can you admit that the distances could be correct, but the layout could be different?
That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the 1 degree angle and 69 miles that was told to me.
I think you're confusing conversations you've had with other people into this conversation and then banding me as some sort of type.
I'm saying you. I never said you.
Yeah, but that's why you're confusing
pretty sure
the conversation.
You would have said it. Pretty sure you would have said it and agreed with it in the past.
This is your problem, dude. This is your problem.
Yo, look in the chat. Look in the chat, ElderBear. Both the same coordinates, one over the flat Earth and one over the globe. See, we brought this up to you guys before, but it just goes in one ear and out the other. You guys don't accept the reality that the coordinates aren't exclusive to a globe, and it takes presuppositions, right? You had to pretend like you know the distance to Polaris, the stars. You had to pretend that you know the exact elevation angle of Polaris from the surface of the Earth, which you do not know, right? All you know is what your eyes see in the sky from a specific coordinate. That's all you really know.
You can measure an angle though, right?
Now this is from an engineer who works with CAD, and he's the one who actually. His name's. You can find him on YouTube.
Measure an angle. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying you can't measure an angle?
No, you can measure an angle, but it's a second order measurement. It's not a first order measurement because you're not physically measuring from point A to point B to point C. When you do triangulation, you're not physically measuring like you would in like the surface area of your room or the volume of your room, where you measure from length, width, and height. You can actually measure it with a tape measure or a laser, and you can verify that measurement by walking from point A to point B and then from point B to point C. You can actually physically verify those measurements. These measurements have never been verified. They're, basically what you have is affirming the consequent fallacy. You understand the difference between a first order and a second order measurement?
But they can be measured. You could check it in reality, couldn't you?
How?
By measuring a 69-mile distance and see if there's a 1 degree change in the measured angle.
Second order.
Yeah, but that's second order. You're not physically measuring point A to point B. When you do triangulation, the hypotenuse of the triangle, are you physically verifying the distance to the star?
Nope.
We're not talking about distance to stars. We're talking about the distance along the ground.
See how your paradigm collapses? It's just a model, dude, and it's useful.
I never made a triangle.
Hold on, dude. I'm still talking. So
yes, you make a triangle.
Hold on, dude. You have utility, right? It's useful for getting around on the earth, right? Just because something is useful or pragmatic doesn't mean that it is so. And you guys constantly appeal to pragmatism, which is fallacious reasoning. Just because it's useful or has utility doesn't mean that's reality. Go ahead.
You only measure an angle. There's no triangle there.
Still second order. What you're doing is second order measurement. You're inferring.
Well, that's all we have. All we have is the actual reality of the measurements, right?
Right, but you're asking these questions like you can verify this stuff and it proves something.
Well, they were the numbers I was given.
It's not exclusive to the ball.
But they were the numbers I was given. I didn't make them up. They were the numbers I was given. 69 miles per 1 degree.
Do you have
That's
an argument?
Numbers I was given.
I do have an
argument, yeah.
What's your argument? Yeah. What's your rebuttal? Go ahead.
It's called the measured flat destructive dichotomy.
What's your premise and conclusion, dude? Come on.
Secret.
If there's a distance of 69 miles is measured per 1 degree change in angle to Polaris, then the distance between the GP of Polaris and the equator would be made up of 91 degree increments of 69 miles. If the equator is a circle of equal altitude formed by that measured angle, latitude, and the distance around this the equator is 24,901 miles, and we have a distance of 6,210 miles on the GP of Polaris to the equator, flat Earth, horizontal measured miles, to a circumference of 24,901 miles. If that's so, pi equals 2. If the distance is 6,210 miles, then the circumference must be just over 39,000 miles.
But if you realize that the stars are direct equivalents and they're not apparent, then you'd know it's a globe.
I'm just addressing what's been given to me. I'm just addressing what's been given to me. All right, by people, and has been reiterated by 10th man many times. Given these distances, horizontal flat Earth distances, we know it's a straight line horizontal distance, 69 miles. It's not me. I didn't make the claim. It's just an argument. It's an argument addressing those who made the claim.
No, you haven't really made a valid, solid argument with soundness, because these measurements have never been verified.
I'll pop it in the chat for you.
Yeah, dude. All you have is a model, right? You say it was reverse engineered, and it has utility.
I have a model.
That's all you have. It has utility.
I'll put it in the chat there for you. 11:16.
Yeah, and I put it in the chat too. All the different interpretations of elevation angles to the sun.
Just an argument, right?
If you look, right, you see the last image I posted, A1, A2, A3, and then if you see on the right, the same measurements right? The only difference is that on a flat Earth, the sun's elevation angle, right, shifts, not because we're on a globe, but because of perspective. That's the only thing that changes.
Yeah, you just asked me for an argument. Yeah, you put my argument in the chat. Just so there you go.
So you're not going to address that. You've been avoiding this perspective argument from the beginning.
No, that's not what it's about, really.
Now we know that the map of the world. The map of the world. We know that, like Roots was saying, we can also verify the surface area of the ocean and the continents. I mean, you have. You have the continents, the topographical maps of the continents, and then you have the distances between the continents. You have the continents, the topographical maps of the continents, and then you have the distances between the continents and the oceans, like the Pacific, right? Hawaii to America and Hawaii to Asia. These distances could be expanded or contracted. We know that America is not to scale, dude. America's huge in these maps, and Africa is small. Right, so they'll admit that the maps, that the continents aren't to scale, dude. So how are we supposed to verify these distances?
You can do it. You can do it locally. You can do it. You can measure 69 miles on a scale map. You can travel on the north-south longitude or direction. You could measure. You can check the angle.
What do you mean measure it on a map?
Point B. And if you get lots of people to do that, you'd be able to see. We could have a data people who say whether that does come to 69 miles or thereabouts, because it's an average. It'll be a little bit out or not.
You're not hearing them. They agree.
I don't know about those big land masses because it's not something, I'm here where I am, and say that, but I can't verify them or not.
I agreed with you, you idiot.
That's 69 miles for 1 degree.
A celestial sphere map with your degree fucking formula to their flat Earth because of the sky, magic sky. That's what you're not getting. If it's not a magic sky, it's a fucking globe, isn't it, you div?
I'm not div.
That's basically it. But we don't do that. You guys are cannibalizing each other. It's all right.
Because he can't be honest. He's trying to debunk flat Earth, yeah, but he says it's not a globe. So how does that work?
At this point, bro, I'm agnostic on the whole thing. Honestly, I don't subscribe to a model right now.
Well, not you. You're not under interrogation. Elder was.
Oh,
I'm just saying, like, not for the record, though. I used to push a certain model. I don't do that anymore because I've realized that none of these models can actually be verified.
So would you here and now tell Elder with me that the observations do fit a globe.
Yes, you can perceive a globe with certain observations, like the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, even the elevation angles of the sun. If you presuppose the curvature, yes, it would make sense.
Yes.
Nobody's denying that, though, Dawn. There's a backwards engineering of reality.
Elder says it can't fit to anything, even though he's using the globe math.
It's not globe math, it's reality, isn't it?
Well, how do you know it's 69 miles then?
But then, like, there's other observations that debunk that, like the fact that you could see 300 miles, which, according to the curvature, you shouldn't be able to see these, these shorelines, like from like the Strait of Gibraltar, for example. So, like, I don't know how that's possible. And then they'll invoke refraction or looming refraction or whatever, right? So, like, certain observations show globe, other observations falsify globe. So that's why I'm agnostic.
Yeah, but the real point is just saying all these models work with the sky if you accept each model for what it is.
Logically speaking, if you do a modus tollens, if P then Q, not Q, therefore not P, the premise is faulty. So if you presuppose, right, in your premise, or you don't presuppose, but if you assume that you're on a ball and you do the calculations, and you shouldn't be able to see certain objects after a certain amount of distance, yet you go to falsify it. So if the globe has a certain radius and you go to observe something on the horizon, and then certain things are actually appearing or looming up when they shouldn't be looming up, then you have to be able to explain that. And I know they've tried to explain it, but they haven't been successful, dude. Why things appear when they shouldn't be possible to be seen. How do we know that it's actually refraction looming these things up, like officially?
Yeah, because we don't have any of the hallmarks of refraction in our long distance observations. We can study refraction, and we know the characteristics of refraction, but they're not present in long distance observations 90% of the time. So you can't just say it's refraction if there's no characteristics of refraction. You're going to have to prove that. But more often than not, we see way further anyway, and the actual conditions of the day dictate that.
Yeah, there's two modus tollens in the argument.
What'd you say?
I'm glad you stepped in line. Appreciate what you just said. It was very well said.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of over flat Earth, dude. Like, there's other topics we could talk about, but it's whatever you guys want, dude. I feel like we're at a standstill with flat Earth, dude. We're at a roadblock. It's been pretty stagnant. I haven't heard Witsip post anything recently, dude. People are jumping to dual pole now, which I think is, I'm just gonna back away, dude. If everybody's gonna go to dual pole, dude, I'm just gonna back away from flat Earth altogether, dude.
Do you rely on Witsip then for your info?
No, I feel like since the TFE, right, flat Earth took a hit and people haven't been the same since. I didn't think it was going to actually achieve anything, but apparently they achieved what they wanted, dude. Duffy got what he wanted, dude. He fractured flat Earth.
No, I disagree, dude. We just lost some AE model focused flat people who weren't really serious, about this. This is a far more complex issue than, like you said. I actually agree with what you said to me a few months ago, which was You're not going to be able to prove anything with empirical scientific approach. It's going to need philosophy, which is why I am now more open to models than ever before, because I've realized in order to make progress, we're going to have to pop into philosophy. So I'm open to that, but on the understanding that this doesn't prove anything, and a model can't be verified, but I'm still open to progress.
I am. And hopefully we receive more clarity.
Yeah, flat Earth. I don't know. Even the way you explained it, Lion, is like almost like flat Earth is some model focus, and that flat Earthers were AE people, and now they're dual pole people. I don't see it like that at all. I mean, I'm from the 24/7 flat Earth group, in the sense that I spent most of my time with them, and there was no model. Do you know what I mean? Like the flat Earthers that I know well. None of them believe in a model, and none of them have jumped from one model to another. So my experience of how TFE has affected the flat Earth community is different from your experience of how it's affected the community. I don't think it's fractured. I think some of the AE people have disappeared, and that's great. That you're not going to get progress without disrupting what's already there.
You've also stopped describing it as well, haven't you?
Describing it, I've always described it the same way.
With the measurements.
Yep. No,
and I'm talking about, not using necessarily personally, but like the group you call 24/7.
Right, but the measurements we're taking show us that there's no curvature.
That's where I got the measurements from 24/7, though. That's where I got the measurements from 24/7, amongst others.
You're trying to build a model. You're trying to get us to then walk you through a model with those measurements.
No,
the measurements aren't for a model. The measurements are just to confirm
the numbers
if there's curvature.
That was all by you people.
Right, but the numbers were given in relation to the question, is there curvature? Is there motion? That's why the numbers were presented, not to build a model. You're trying to take those numbers and create a model, which is not what the flat earthers are trying to do. They're just trying to show you there's no curvature.
His distance is 69 miles is described as a flat earth. That is a flat measurement, horizontal elevation angle derived measurement.
Right, all taken in response in respect to a horizontal reference.
Yep. So a distance, a 69-mile horizontal distance.
Yeah, dude. That's Oakley's argument, dude.
It's not just Oakley. I've heard on 24/7 as well. Okay.
No, yeah, but you need if it's doing triangulation, triangles don't have curves, bro.
Well, that's the argument addresses those people who use it, have used it, do use it, and that's what that was about, really. But I know people are not saying it now because since then, and since TFE, that they're careful not to say anything about that. So they withdraw conversation. The Jedi used to endlessly celestial navigation, this 1 degree to 69 miles. That was a flat Earth proof not so long ago. Hardline flat Earth proof. Now they've withdrawn. They're not talking about those numbers anymore.
Oh my God, they still believe that. It's equivalent.
Well, you can. Oh my God, maybe they still believe it, but they're not talking about it and pretending they never said it and nobody said it and they don't know anybody.
There's whole channels that are into cell nav. People's little YouTube channels built around it.
Talking about these people that have just been spoken about. People that Roots represents. Nathan Oakley.
I don't represent anybody but myself.
I don't represent
you spoke for 24/7 a minute ago, so I'm referring to that.
Yeah, I spoke to tell you that these measurements are used to prove there's no curvature and no motion of the Earth. That's it. Job done. Yeah, the globe.
They're represented as flat Earth measurements, though.
No, they're not, because there isn't a flat Earth model. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're doing wrong. You're taking these numbers and trying to apply it to a model. You want the 24/7 guys to have a model. That's why you fall out and
I don't care whether they have one. I'm just addressing what they say.
That's why you have such a beef with them, because nobody in that group will give you a model. That's why you have an issue.
I'm saying they describe a model and they describe the numbers. When they give you the numbers, they describe a model. When I ask questions about the numbers, you say they're the globe numbers.
No, how many times do I have to tell you? They give you the numbers to debunk the claim that there's curvature and motion. That's it.
No.
Stop trying to make a model out of it.
The claim is 69 flat Earth miles from the GP of Polaris to the equator, 90 degrees from 0 to 0 to Polaris, 5,440 nautical miles flat Earth miles.
No, the argument is to back up the fact that we see too far, ElderBear, and they're the numbers to show you.
What do you mean we see too far? What do you mean we see too far?
The numbers are there to show you and debunk that there's any deviation from 0. That's it.
We see what we see. I mean,
they're taken in the respect of a horizontal reference. That's all it is. The numbers are there to demonstrate to you there's no curvature. You don't need to build a model out of it, and to keep insisting.
Okay, so the 69 miles is not curved, right?
I don't know how many times I have to tell you, but it gets to the point where you need,
miles a curved line or a straight line. Hello, is the 69 miles a curved line or a straight line?
Oh, good question.
Well, you think it's a straight line. You think it's a straight line, but that's not how we see it.
Yeah, you know.
If you're going to look 69 miles, you're not seeing in a straight line.
Well, the measurements are straight lines, aren't they?
Are they?
Perspective you don't see in straight lines.
Shortest distance from A to B. Yeah.
Is it a straight line on a globe?
See, this is how he obfuscates and beats around the bush.
Really, it's curved on a globe.
Maybe I learned it was going along the way from 24/7 to do that. I didn't think I was. Either those 69 miles on the flat Earth is a straight line horizontal distance, not.
Yeah, they're saying it is on a flat Earth, obviously.
Okay.
Sky bends instead.
Okay.
To the same amount exactly as what the globe bends in real life.
But it's a straight line, so it can't curve.
Meaning you haven't debunked it yet.
No, just in reality is what it would be.
Yeah, unless you admit it's a globe, what do you really have against the flat Earth?
You have straight line distances you can measure.
Yeah, and what's your conclusion from doing that?
Just that you can have a straight line.
Oh, that's
that isn't curving.
Great.
How do you know it's not curving? Oh. So no
straight line on the map.
Straight line on the map. Yeah, but maps can be flat, and the Earth could be a globe, couldn't it?
Yeah, they're made scale maps, 1-to-1 scale map.
1-to-1 scale map?
Yeah. When they make a map, they're scaled.
Oh, show us a video of that.
That's a pretty big map.
Look at the Ordnance Survey maps.
I genuinely think this is as far as this is going to go with you, ElderBear. I don't know if there's any other points you want to make, but I just feel like we're going around in circles.
You mean so? There's a what type of map?
No,
Let's go through.
I made an argument. You can look at the argument and rebut the argument if you want. That's what they're for. It's based on the information that I was given, that have been given from flat earthers, and that's what it was about, really.
Well, I'm going to ask NP to invite E1 in. I'll message you, ElderBear, or somebody will reach out to you when he's around. I'd love to hear you have a chat with him. Ask him some of these questions. I think it'd be pretty healthy. I don't know, Riggs, if you're there, if you could get that organised, but I think that's needed right now.
Sorry, I got confused. I thought you meant a fucking life-size scale map. What map do you mean?
You take a local map to you and you could measure 69 miles on it. It'd be a straight line, wouldn't it?
No, what you really mean is measure 69 miles in reality, right?
In 2 points, and you could go there, and then you could measure an angle to Polaris at each point and see if it changes
hang
1 degree or not.
Hang on a second.
Sorry?
You've got to get this. You've got to stop getting this wrong. You don't mean measure 69 miles literally on the map, do you?
You use a scale of the map, yes. Measure 69 miles.
When you keep saying measure it on the map, and you don't mean that.
Yeah, you'd use the map. Measure 69
measure
mile
it in
distance
reality is
between
what
two
you really
locations,
mean.
right? The distance between two locations.
I wonder why you keep saying measure it on the map.
You'd use the map, right?
Yeah.
You use a scale on the side to measure the distance between 2 points, 69 miles distance.
I know that idea, and the sky is 1 degree different. And then what's next?
Well, you can do as many of those as you want, or get lots of other people to do it and see if it is that 69 miles in reality.
So is your point really that people might have lied to the flat earthers about the celestial sphere degrees? Or do you
just looking for the verification of the number?
Do you accept that people have already done that, bro? Do you accept people?
I guess somebody must have done it somewhere because it was given as a number, right?
Yeah, but do you trust they could be right or wrong?
Well, I'd have to, that's the point of verifying it, seeing if that's actually true or not.
You don't trust that it could be right.
It's not about trusting. It's just have you done it? Have you done it yourself? Have you done it yourself?
So hypothetically, let's say we did do it and we found this 1 degree.
No, have you done it yourself?
Then what?
Have you done it?
I know it's 1 degree.
Have you done it?
But why do I need to verify if I know it?
Well, that's the difference between, you verifying and actually knowing it. You believe it.
Well, I don't care.
You don't know it.
I feel confident.
Well, I don't care. You believe it. You don't know it.
So let's say we've done it. Let's say some humans have done it, and it is 1 degree. Then what?
Well, then we'll have an actual measurement. We'll have something we can, that is real.
A sky.
And then we'll know whether that is actually. We'll know whether that does match the numbers that are given, 69 to 60 nautical miles, or not.
Yeah.
It's used, but nobody's.
So we've agreed. We've done it. We've agreed.
It's used to verify both the flat Earth and the globe.
Is it? I thought they both had explanations for that. Don't they both have explanations, but for why it changes over 1 degree?
Both models.
You what? Do you want to hear the explanations again for both models?
Your explanation, you haven't done it.
No,
I get explanations from people all the time about that, but they haven't done it either.
Let's say we've done it. Remember, it's a hypothetical. Let's say we've done it and we found the 1 degree. Then what?
Then we'll have some data.
Yeah, but both models have an explanation for that data already. Are you aware of that?
Well, you can make it, then you can conclude from the horizontal distance, 69 miles an hour. And
well, on a globe, it won't be horizontal, will it?
Pi equals 2 or not.
On a globe, it won't be exactly horizontal. Not in the real sense.
But the measurements are, though, aren't they?
When you add them together on a globe, it's not, is it?
Individually, they're horizontal distances, aren't they? Straight line.
I'm not sure we can agree on that.
Well, you haven't verified it. So how would you know?
Your horizontal distances are like this hypothetical thing that goes off into space on a globe. But in real life,
no, it's a measurement you make in reality, isn't it? I mean, I presume that's what was done on the maps. When they made the maps, that's what they did, didn't they? Isn't that what they did when they made the maps?
Right.
No, I'm not saying what you think I got to say. Perhaps maybe that's the difference.
So we found the 1 degree, and then how would that confirm one model or debunk one model.
Sorry, I'm making a bit of noise. I can't really hear you at the moment. Multitasking.
Just,
I don't know if
as
anyone
we
else
got to
feels the
the
same. I
just
feel
as
like
we
we've got to the end
important
of
bit.
this.
Go on, Roots. Sorry.
He does the same thing all the time. You're picking up on it. His use of language, he's acting like this proves something. And when you dig in and find out what it proves, he'll just be like, well, we've got some data. Yeah, great. We're not getting anywhere.
I'll make his argument.
Whether the Earth was flat or a globe, wouldn't we? Or
how?
Or whatever
How? I just asked you how, and you said you were busy.
Yeah. Or at least it would,
Bro.
question these models more succinctly.
How would you tell the difference once we find the 1 degree?
Difference between what?
Difference between, and now he's pretending he doesn't know what he just said. Oh, what were we talking about again? Sorry, I'm busy.
I am busy. Yeah, I'm a bit busy. But I am trying.
Not when you made the claim a minute ago. Well,
I didn't make any claim, really.
The claim that you could tell the difference.
Said it can be measured.
No, you said
to verify
it. To tell the difference.
If you haven't done it, then there's not much to say about it, is there? Really? If you had a data set of measurements, you might be able to have something to say. Well, it is actually that, or it isn't actually that. Now what?
Oh, you've just claimed it again, but I could ask you again, then you'll avoid it again. Do you want the response?
Let's collect the data, and then we can see.
See what?
See what we could conclude from the data.
You're not sure?
At this point, no.
So everyone should collect data, but you're not sure what we could conclude. That is ridiculous, man. No one's going to collect data, yeah, because they all know it's 1 degree by 69. They accept astronomy. Because they're like 3-4 years ahead of what you are. I can make your argument for you in a minute. Because maybe I should help the spirit that's inside you trying to make an argument. So the argument of the spirit that possesses Elder that's trying to make an argument is, this proves the globe when you find the celestial sphere, because it's a sphere. And if you say, no, it has to be flat still, the sky must be magic, you're reaching and being religious. See how easy that was to say. How good it feels, to be honest.
Yo, who's hot micing like that, dude?
That's ElderBear, I think. I thought it was ElderBear.
And if you can get over the dichotomy and just tell yourself, could be either, man, could be what they say. That's freedom. Anyone got a new topic?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I was just telling my coworker that I was watching the news this morning, and this is black news. The guy got home, and he caught his wife with a cop, dude, in uniform. Cop was banging his wife, dude, in uniform, bro. Then he got up, and, like, started putting his belt on and shit with his gun. And the guy was like, he's trying to hold it together without breaking down. Like, what's your badge number? What's your badge number? Yo, dude, what would you do, bro? It's not like you can hit him. You know what I mean? He's a cop. And he ain't breaking the law, dude. Is he? Is banging someone's wife breaking the law?
He might not have even known she had a partner.
If you believe in the Bible, it's breaking the law. But if you don't believe in the Bible, it's not breaking like any civil laws.
If they're not your mate, I don't think you can punish them because you don't own a woman.
It was his wife, he said. Like in the news, it was his wife, not like his girlfriend or some girl he was dating.
If the cop wasn't his mate, so the cop's on a different timeline, you can't just kill him.
Yeah, you're right. I don't believe that I don't think that you have the right to smash on him because, like you said, he's a free man. If anything, you should be mad at your wife. You can't smash on your wife either. So in that scenario, dude, your best choice is just to walk away, dude, and never look back.
Something
or sit in the corner and watch.
Wrong. You accidentally miscalculated the woman, so that's your fault.
Don would sit in the corner and watch. No, I'm joking. But yeah, dude, let me see if I can find it. I'll show you.
No, I'm not into.
Bro, I've walked in on my girl with another man, the mother of my child. So I can relate. But she set me up. She wanted me to walk in on her, like, because out of spite and envy. Like she planned it ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? That's how women are. They want you to walk in on them, dude, to hurt you.
You seen Chris Rock's presentation on how to not get beat up by the cops? He's like, don't bring a mad woman with you. They will throw you under the bus to spite you.
That's right. No, I haven't seen that, but that's how they are. They're venomous for a reason.
That's hilarious. He does a little skit where they get pulled over and, how you doing, officer? And the female who's mad, she's got this look on her face. She goes, he's got weed. So funny. Like, your female will throw you under the bus. She doesn't. She wants all manner of suffering to happen to you if she's mad at you. It's actually kind of annoying me because, like, I follow a lot of these Patriot podcasters. They're all doing the same. They're all showing the same Chris Rock skit of how to not get beat up by the police because of that mom that got shot in Minnesota by ICE. The footage around that is so bad. It's so condemning. Literally, the partner of the girl that got shot is on the body cam footage that was released, like egging the police officer on, which is just, that's fine. It's within her protest rights. But right before, when the cops show up to stop the vehicle, like you see on the recording, right before the shooting, she says, "Go, baby, go." She tells her to run him over. And then on the body cam, you can see this lady like lock eyes with the dude and try to ram him. It's crazy.
I think there's more to it than that. He was off to the side. He didn't have to shoot, so I'm going to have to go with hoax.
Yeah, I don't think he had to shoot, but I think he had the right to. I mean, sucks for that lady. There wasn't a super agile guy that would have been smart to just roll out of the way and save a life, go arrest her later.
What is the story?
That's how I critically look at it.
Are they actually migrants, or are they just agitators on the street?
Well, this lady is a white lesbian liberal who's driven 300, 400 miles across the country with her kid in the car to protest. It's insanity. It is pure freaking insanity.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is there a backstory with ICE? Like, is her girlfriend or is one of them or their friends breaking the law? And I'm being
ICE were just they're just going around looking for immigrants.
Yeah, they're like puppets, right? They're all getting fat bonuses,
right, to be immigrant. So the guy had less reason to shoot because they weren't really escaping. All they were escaping is him saying, "Stop the car, get out the car."
Yep. Well, it's just around their training. Like it's not just because of these situations that's been implemented in law enforcement. But if you use your vehicle, if they know that you've been told to stop and you use your vehicle to drive through them, that's an attempt to use lethal force.
The same as drawing a weapon, right?
Exactly. So it's just a line in the sand that unfortunately an innocent woman who is emotionally activated to go and protect immigrants that are actually here stealing her hard work. It's all sad.
Well, I think there might be a backstory, unless it is just a coincidence and it shows both sides. So just the fact that she lurched forward is enough for her to get shot. But why are they shooting people? Why are the ICE talking to lesbians in the street?
Well, the ice caused her tires to spin out. So really, the ice saved that guy's life, in my opinion. But to me, it's
it ICE, please?
What's that?
Immigration control. Is that not the people that shot her?
Yeah, ICE agent. But it wasn't a newbie. It was a guy that he got drugged by a vehicle and had a surgery because of it. So she picked the wrong dude. It sucks. He was probably traumatized and was like, nope, not getting drugged by a vehicle again. Pop. That's a little bit of the backstory that I was able to find. Because I was trying to look up, like...
It was meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Kind of weird. But, like, the big story here for me, the in between the lines, is why is this... if a conservative did this, imagine if I jumped in my truck during the Biden administration and drove up and tried to stop the credit cards they were handing out, right? I decided that I could use my vehicle to block off the buses, and I could, use my vehicle's lethal force to prevent progress of that stuff. I would have been.
Were they blocking the road? That's backstory.
Yeah, and it's not just her that's trying it. That's the problem. Like, that's the case where someone got shot by an ICE officer, but there was like 5 cases on social media of footage released of people like Karens in their minivans and SUVs trying to block in ICE officer vehicles. It's just nuts.
Right.
In fact, they think they can do that.
No, see, I think that's enough to trigger him to shoot, even though he's not supposed to shoot. And you could explain that in court and get found not guilty.
Yep. Some of the police chiefs have come out and said just that. They said, if you surround one of our police officers, we assume this is a lethal threat to life. You could ambush us. You guys, we don't know why you're surrounding us. Expect our officers to draw weapons and fire on you if you surround them with your vehicles. I think that's an excellent line to draw, because you got to put some fear in these people. They're like breaking traffic laws, driving around these cities, acting like they own the place. And most of them drove across the country from radicalized swing states.
That's why I wonder if it could be a setup, because that's how they make it look real, by shooting a lesbian in the face.
Well, I think it's just gotten to a point where they just get to sit back and capitalize on people being dumb. People are so emotionally activated. People are following the script they installed. So there's
it's saying, if you're a leftist Karen, stay out the way. We're doing something.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, these ICE officers are not, they're following federal law that was voted for. So it's like, these are the same people that, screamed at conservatives for.
By screens. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
But yeah, these are just the same people that were screaming at conservatives for not following the democratic system. It was so traumatizing. January 6th, how could you guys get so aggressive? We're just seeing them burn cities and attack law enforcement. I think there's too much money that's been pumped into the immigration aspect. Like, all the money they've spent to get these people's lives in our country. Like, that is clearly a technique used to just put so much pressure and strain on the economy. And why do that other than to try to make it difficult for someone else that's coming in? And like, they knew exactly what they were doing. I feel like COVID should have been was the mic drop. Like, for some reason they got baited into going full regalia, and it just didn't take. Because I feel like a lot of people say, well, look at COVID. Like, they tested everybody. Everyone's retarded. They just did it. Well, it was also a test that a lot of people won't fail again. Like, why didn't they keep pushing it? Well, if you look at their script, I believe that they've been signaling they wanted that to go on for nearly a decade, and to dilapidate the economy, and to amplify their 7-year plan for taking over different countries through their if you guys have seen that list of 7 countries, and that was the time frame I believe they were going to do it in. But because they lost the application of code and everybody's kind of done a backlash on that entire event, I think it's been a shock factor that was just used against them. Just so many more people are active or like activated now passionately. They realize that, holy crap, COVID was an actual attack. Wait, what? And that, like, a lot of people are getting locked in around that.
You think it was a bioweapon by the Black Hat?
Yeah, I think COVID.
Definitely.
Yep.
There's a bioweapon going back to 2001. They were working on the SARS virus, tinkering with it in the lab, dude, trying to make chimeras of it. We have a historicity of this bioweapon being developed. But dude, last thing, I'll end here. I think that due to God's providence and God's will, dude, it didn't end up taking a third of the population. I think they intended to kill a lot of people with it, and they weren't successful because it's on God's timing, dude. Nature's resilient. Human beings are resilient. We have a robust immune system, bro. This thing did not take us out. Something happened, dude.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Either it was naturally, right, that our immune systems overcame it, or there was the white hat that were involved in also engineering of a similar virus, but that was a weaker strain to give us the immunity so that when the stronger virus hit you, you wouldn't succumb to it. Because I heard that the white hats purposely released a weaker version of the virus almost immediately to combat the Chinese virus, and the weaker virus spread quicker, giving people immunity to the stronger shit. Because there's a war going on right now. People don't realize it. There's wars going on underneath people's noses. We're oblivious to it.
I think that's the plot of World War Z.
I've also heard that line. And they also infiltrated the cryogenic shipping company, which was brand new built, so they could get around the preservative lawsuits that were going on in the background. They took all the preservatives out and used cryogenic freezing to transport, but those were replaced with saline solutions, like millions of doses.
Yeah, I heard that too. This is intelligence stuff, dude, going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on. People get like mixed information through the media, and but I do believe in viruses, and I do believe in bioweapons. I've seen enough information and evidence to support that these things actually exist, and they've been tinkering with them for decades.
I mean, Lion, it can mean 5G, whatever. It doesn't have to be biological, but it can trigger a fucking, what do they call it? Where you get rid of everything. I don't know. The germ theory guys have a word for it.
Terrain theory? What?
Detox, right? It could be a detox, whatever. My point was more that Tank thinks it's the black hats. So a certain group did a dirty bomb, and then there'll be a good group that tries to protect us from it.
I think that's he's right about that. That's actually going on. And like the thing is, it's not a bioweapon per se. Like it's not biological per se because viruses aren't. I don't think viruses are alive. They're like programs. They're no different than a robot, dude. It's a virus is nothing more than a program, dude.
Yeah, so it's like in the movies. It's like in the movies, but it's real. I think that's good.
They've hijacked something that is present in all human beings. Viruses are present in all human beings. They have a purpose, a good one, in the body, involving DNA, dude, transcription. And what they do is they take these mechanisms that are already present in the body and they hijack them. They manipulate them. They fuck with it like they fuck with everything else. And then they release it and it causes harm. But the viruses aren't supposed to be harmful, dude. And I think this is fallen angel technology, bro. The angels were the ones that gave us the knowledge to actually fuck with it.
I feel like some films they thought it would be nanobots, but it turns out it is more biological than a nanobot. But it still works as a program.
Right, because our bodies, dude, we were looking through the Taylor's microscope the other day. These little organisms, they have like robotic mechanisms, part of their anatomy, dude, part of their biology. Like, it's unbelievable that within us there's natural organic machines that have a good purpose in, you know, rebuilding DNA and transferring nutrients and all this weird shit. But what happens if one of these mechanisms, these organic robotic mechanisms, gets hijacked, right? And becomes rogue.
Like cancer, or is another way that
becomes malignant, detrimental to the host instead of benefiting the host because its programming has been corrupt. Its instructions, its orders. The Bible calls it the orders. No different than a soldier, right? He receives his orders and his commands. And if its orders are self-destructive, the robot's only going to do what it was programmed to do. And if its orders are corrupt or if they've been manipulated in some way, which is what they're doing, then it's going to be detrimental to the host. They fuck with the orders. You can actually see the tinkering, though. They can see it's a chimera between SARS, HIV, and MRSA, dude. Or not MRSA, SARS, HIV, and Corona.
Yep. The HIV element is nuts. How well it can hide itself in our body, stay dormant.
Which that doesn't exist in nature. They can tell that they've created this chimera, this Frankenstein virus in the lab, dude. Because there's no, like, you can look at the evolution of the virus, and within its evolution, within its genetic history, you can see where in one generation it was like they inserted the HIV delivery system. In one generation they inserted the spike protein. Like, this shit didn't happen naturally. They can tell it was fucked with in the lab, dude.
Yep. Some of the teams working on, like, these are private sector industry. They get a lot of funding from government and other corporations, but they're working on reverse engineering biophages, the things they discovered in the Antarctic ice. I mean, these things consume other bacteria and viruses, but they're like breaking them apart and using frequency and drugs to control them, like little biological robots. And that's given birth to this idea of being able to actually have an active system that's injecting itself. That's why I think we're actually at a point where they may have been really deploying something that they could actually control or activate with a frequency. Some of these microscopic ferromagnetic fatty lipids that they've worked on are insane. It's the
graphene shit too.
Yeah,
they can control it with sound or some type of frequency. It is trippy. I mean, a lot of people, they're reluctant to believe in it, dude. I don't doubt it anymore, dude. I used to doubt viruses, but then I don't doubt them anymore, bro. They're just taking what's already there in nature and they're hijacking it, like they do with GMO crops. They're taking what God has already created to be beneficially good for us, and they're hijacking it. The viruses, at the end of the day, they're like these somatids or microzymae. You can see them, dude. They look like little light balls. They look like little balls of light.
Yeah, I was mind blown. People that showed up trying to tell me that viruses and bacteria are all just fake. Because to me, there's a line where it's like, okay, yeah, there's some graphical representation you can show, but I mean, I've spent thousands of hours watching, the techniques they use to mark the slides, how they set the slide up, what their source of a slide is. Majority of it is just live viewing it through a lens. So there is no possibility for them to be graphically misrepresenting all of the video footage we have of the micro tiny world. So,
well, the artwork is another, right? Like the representation, the models, I don't agree with. Right, just like atomism, they have these models of the electron cloud and the nucleus of the atom and the proton and the neutron. These are models just for us to conceptualize this microscopic world, right? That we can't actually see. But when it comes to electron microscopy and stuff, dude, they look like just little balls of light. Legit. Like viruses look like little orbs, dude, of light. Legit. It's unbelievable. And you can see them when it comes to DNA transcription. You can see them at work.
I think it's crazy. People are, I don't know. It just feels like because we're right at a point of accepting a lot of things that we didn't in the past, that people are also still just they go over the deep end on a lot of things. And I feel like the whole virus thing is definitely one of them. They want us, the whole trick with the viruses, they want to trick us to think that we need their protection from, when in the reality is our body is already perfectly designed, and I believe we're protected by the Holy Spirit. So there's many verses in Psalm that specify what we're protected from: physical ailments, including pestilence, and the influence of the fowler. I like to decode the idea of what the fowler is. What do you think about that, Lion? What does the Bible mean by the fowler and the KJV?
I think
you're gonna have to pull that one up. I don't know what you're talking about. The fowler, dude? Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll pull this up real quick.
Part of my immune system, I think, is spiritual, Tank, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just believing in God. It's if you're not good to yourself, you're more likely to catch a cold.
So true. He that dwelleth in the secret place in the Most High shall abide. This is Psalm 91. Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He will cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust.
Oh, fowl is a bird, isn't it? So what's a fowler?
You see what I'm saying? I don't like to
and foul also means terrible.
Go in the Strong's for me real quick. I can't right now. Go in the Strong's Concordance, look up that verse and look up that word, see what that word means.
Say again?
I don't know what fowler.
The what? The what?
The Strong's Concordance.
Concordance.
It's the systematic organization of the Bible, like all the words. Usually I'll type in H for the Hebrew and then type in the word in Strong's.
Okay, so I'm on this Alaya.com. Surely he shall. Okay, I just pulled up. I don't know how to use this crap.
Yeah, go to Bible Hub, dude. Just actually, if you just go to Google, bro, just do this. Go to Google.
Okay.
Type in that word, Fowler, and then just type in Strong's right after it. Just on Google. You don't even have to go to Bible Hub. Just on Google.
So it gives me the Strong's number and then Hebrew
Yes.
translation. Okay, cool. Yeah, Strong's number is H3353. Phonetic Yakush. Yakush. And word origin passive. Okay. Oh, Bible usage Fowler snare. Part of speech noun masculine.
Oh,
Okay.
someone that catches birds or animals.
That makes more sense, right? So it's someone who catches birds with traps. The Fowler, he's setting up traps for you, right? To get caught in.
Trapper, bait layer. Okay.
And symbolically, poetically, right? God being this protective bird, he's going to guard you under his wings, under his feathers from the Fowler, which is trying to trap us as his youngins, right? Because we're God's little chicklets.
Does it have to mean bird, or could it be any creature?
It could, yeah, it could be any creature. It's poetic language. You know, sometimes God is a lion, sometimes he's a bird, sometimes he's a dragon. It's just poetic language.
So we have to make sure we don't get snared.
Right, as his chicklets, yeah. Because he says that he wants to guard us under his wings.
I mean, the Holy Spirit protects you from Satan. Is it basically saying that?
Yeah.
Or the Father, or whatever you want to say.
Oh, how I long to gather you under my wings, but you will not. That's what Jesus says.
Good shit.
Bird metaphors.
Birdman. Who's the Birdman? Jesus is the Birdman. You got a tape, dude? Oh, you got one in the truck, right? Sorry.
I guess the wings just mean you can go up to heaven, isn't it? It's showing I can fly down and fly up. Same sort of symbol as a rocket would be nowadays, subliminally. That's why you'd want to be like a bird, so you can fly up to heaven.
I don't know where I've been now. Something. That's pretty cool. We're protected from the bait layer, the sneaky con artist.
But then the word foul becomes bad. Is it the same?
Yeah. An interesting analogy for him to then say we're protected by his feathers, under his feathers of protection by the fowler. I wonder what the importance of the bird, the idea that we're supposed to live like a bird, carefree.
Oh, I was just talking about that. So if you've got feathers, you can fly up to heaven.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good catch. I never even thought about the bird double tap there. Yeah, you totally inspired that thought.
You're not stuck to the ground. It's like a bird, right? It flies up and then you don't see where it goes. So it could go all the way up to heaven.
I wonder if that's why I like watching birds.
Yeah, I feel like it's a subconscious subliminal thing. You think of an eagle when you see it up there and you think, oh, they must be able to see the whole world. Then you've got skydiving, drones, everyone, rockets tries to replicate. In the dreams you fly, don't
That's powerful imagery. Makes you think when I used to canoe and just see like big birds like soaring over the river. It's like, holy shit, that'd be so fun. And the freedom and the access.
Yeah, no boundaries matter, does it? Rivers don't matter. You just fly over.
For real. Don, do you want a chance? Because I want to hear. They were dogpiling you on the Satanist thing. I know you're kind of tongue-in-cheek in it a little bit, but what's your take on the Satanism or whatever?
Part of it is an anti-Christian religion. So it's to try and teach people God is more than Yahweh. God means the mystery of nature, and then part of it is to identify the magic's real. But most of it is about the freedom from Christian trappings.
That's interesting. I was gonna align, but it just they were talking so fast because I've interviewed so many people in my life, and a lot of them have, I've listened intently, and I've spoken to people that are self-proclaimed Satanists. They say it kind of jokingly always, because they'll be like, I know you're not going to understand what I really mean, but, I just believe in an anti-control system perspective. I think that most religion is like a weaponized version of, dogma. It's just people have emotional attachment. I've heard it in many different ways. So,
yeah, it's all of that, but I also believe in God and spiritual, so I'm not like an atheist Satanist. It's not all a joke, but because there's so many ways to explain it, sometimes part of it is a joke.
Yeah, it's like I don't know enough to be comfortable to say, yeah, I'm a Satanist. Maybe,
Oh, I am. I decided when I blew my mind open with Flat Earth, I decided you need to align with something. Religion will be helpful. God is real. Magic's real. Cults are cool. Christian identity helps them build themselves. So I want an identity. And then studying it all, you realize paganism and cults existed before Christianity. And Satanism's one word for that, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm way over the hill on the Bible thumping stuff to feel safe talking about being a Satanist. But I think with the state of your heart behind that, it's different than the idea of the stereotype, the evil idea of Satanism. Because if one doesn't even believe that Satan is a real walking entity, and it's more of like a symbol representation of opposing control mechanisms and manipulation.
Well, it's not even that to me, honestly. I see the horned god, the devil, as God. So Yahweh puts on the face of Satan, because Satan is just an image of God for people that tried to give God a face. There's not a good guy and a bad guy, and I'm choosing the bad guy. I'm saying you've all misunderstood God.
Yeah, you're choosing not to even play the preconception about it at all. Which is actually pretty freaking
but inside that's all philosophy. Inside that, I think there could have been a good guy and a bad guy, Enlil and Enki, two aliens. But God is more than that. God is the face of the mystery of the universe, the void, as well as beautiful things like a rose. It's both.
What's the darkest thing you can think of in the lightest thing? You know what I mean? Like dark and light.
I don't know what you mean really by dark and light. You mean evil and good?
Yeah, I guess so. Like what would be like the divine positive and then the divine, because that includes the idea that actually everything is of God and divine.
So if I can think of a really bad thing, eating babies, but I don't believe that is inherently bad. I believe we're the ones who have decided it's bad. And then helping poor people, that would be the good thing. But that's not going to get you to heaven. That's just a thing you've decided to do.
Yep. All the people just taking actions thinking it's going to give them to heaven. It's crazy.
Maybe it does, but we don't know.
Well, I think there's a heart change that has to occur. So the actions are a reflection of a bad heart, and they're just, we see that all the time. People virtue signaling and acting just to get attention and push agendas.
So another word is just pagan if you don't want to go with all the philosophy of Satanism.
What exactly?
It just means you're worshipping old God as old God, and you're not against the system, or you're not being a rebel. But the Christians will call you a Satanist because your God looks like a goat.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that symbolism has already been corrupted, so you have to be virtue signaling.
Yeah, and it is a bit of a virtue signal. But I think that's part of identity nowadays and in the old days.
Yeah, there's such a huge issue with branding where people aren't actually applying the concepts or the perspective or the value system people have. They're like taking the aired out bad laundry of everything and doing a kind of an identity credibility process.
Yeah, it's happening to Republicans and generally right wing all over the world now. Is they're being scapegoated as racist fascists, and they're not. Right wing doesn't mean that.
Yeah. It's one of the most blatant examples. I'm hoping it's going to get people to see it. I don't know, because it's people are not going to just suddenly take a second look at everything, all their misconceptions, but maybe if they realize, oh, I shouldn't be passionate enough about some of the things I believe at this point to be so confident to go take this big action that others are. I think not knowing and being at home and not impacting your daily life is different than okay, I got to go show up somewhere now because I believe so strongly. I'm convinced so strongly.
So I just went to get my coffee. Maybe Satanist is more of a triggering, debatable semantic word. That's why I chose witch, because it doesn't mean bad, really. It's not all about Satan. It's about the goddess and nature and all that. Magic.
Yeah, here warlock is one of the safest titles to take because it's like a warlock is like a turncoat wizard. So like turned from the actual satanic doctrine, but it's still like satanic as the idea of like true freedom.
I think witch is just a word we're trying to push, even though most people push it in a bad way.
Yeah, they're not. They're spellcasters. So it's like, how many witchers are there really? Probably a load of witches out here.
I'm watching a new guy who talks about Jeffrey Dahmer and the occult. So they cast him as a Satanist, and he had an altar, and he collected bones. But it's looking more like his dad taught him to be a killer, and then to dress it up as Satanism.
That's interesting. There's a lot of cases where you see that, where you see the pre-positioning is there. Oh, it makes sense. And they were taught to cloak, whatever it was in something else. That's interesting.
When he got to prison and spoke to much more people, he said he was Christian, and he didn't really know why he had a satanic altar. And there's loads of parts of his life he can't remember.
Kind of a smart strat.
And we've got lots of tapes of his dad saying, "Remember when you bleached the skulls? I never taught you to bleach skulls, did I?" And Jeffrey said, no, I can't remember that. So it's, what do you call that? Plausible deniability, like in Dexter. Dexter's father never gets found guilty for creating it.
Oh yeah, the ultimate, like the OG or creator, the inspiration.
What happened to the bird talk, dude? Guys, you're losing me.
Let's go back to the angels.
I'm like a bird.
I'm gonna fly away.
Maybe that's one way. judge a Satanist.
Don doesn't know where his home is.
I don't know.
If the Satanist still believes the angels can help him, he's maybe a good guy. And if he's given up all
home, dude. Don, he just wants you to come home.
Come to Jesus.
Morning.
Hail Satan!
Gotta go
Man, I got like a solid 2 hours, didn't I? I'm gonna die if I keep this up.
Do Catholics pray to their own dead relatives? Sometimes.
They're not supposed to. The Pope just officially made it a thing. Like, dude, we only pray to God.
And saints. Some saints are allowed, but
no. So, the Pope said we only pray to God. He just came out, the newest Pope.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're not supposed to be praying to the dead. That's necromancy, even if they're considered saints. Even if they died righteously, right?
That's one.
And are with Jesus, we still can't pray to them.
Because you know they're in the other world, and you know they were in this one, it makes for a cool thing to pray to. In the pagan world, it's allowed.
Necromancy. It's it's considered an abomination according to the law.
That means using dead bodies.
No, praying to the dead is considered necromancy, waking up the dead. You're not supposed to pray to them and wake them up from their slumber.
I like to pronounce it necromancy. Okay.
Necro. Yeah, I'm from the East Coast. I don't know, dude. I get If people, you know that one dude that goes around, he's Muslim. His name's Necros.
I think I've run into him. Yeah.
Well, I naturally call him Necros. That's my vernacular, and people have like called me out. I know what you're doing. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, that's how I say his name, dude. Like, I'm not doing anything. Because it's too close to the N-word, I guess.
Not really. I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like when people say, certain words. It's common. I'm just messing around.
Negros is like Negro, right? Negros. It's too close to Negro, dude. They thought I was calling him a nigger. It's like, nah, man.
Makes me think of the Key and Peele skit, The Magical Negro.
hey, it's Negroid, okay?
It's so funny.
Is there like a particular shade I have to be? Is there like like those little like paint samples you get at Home Depot?
Well, in Spanish, you'd have to be like asphalt black, and you'd be negro in Spanish.
Negro, yes.
Oh, it's relative. That's a good point, Don. Yeah. Depending on who's around you with a different shade.
Just look up Nigerian culture. Look at their shade.
Hijackers.
And it becomes such a strong title, label, that they accept it in the end through mind control. But then if you try to say the wrong person is one, they will get mad and say, no, he's not one. Protecting the label.
Alec used to get mad at me when I would say black people. I was like, wait, what am I supposed to say?
I remember that. Yeah, I was in school and black people was what people said. Then they changed it to coloured. Then a couple of years later, they said, this is really bad to say coloured. And everyone went back to saying black people.
No. Don, it was colored a long time ago. Then it was black people. And then it was African American.
Hate to see it.
Colored.
So now we just say African, right? But That could mean white people.
African American. Where y'all be saying colored at still?
What is African American? How can you be both?
Exactly.
Telling you, man. Telling you, they're DNA hijackers.
Mel moved to Scotland, so he's an Australian Scotsman now.
You still talking to Merle? How Merle doing?
Yep, his DNA test came back. He totally changed.
Australian Scotsman. That's his race.
The land does something to the blood. It's incredible. Give it about 2 weeks, man.
I think people always used to laugh at the language, right? But we can't find anything better. We just try to describe people moving around.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys?
Well, Jim, you're trying to explain
like,
things too. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You guys got a flow going. I just don't know when to.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to be a dummy.
Do you guys think like some people need a leader? Like they just can't. They can't be. I don't know. I think like you can develop leaders or whatever, but like you think some people just can't do it. I think there's some people that just can't do it. You know, that's what I think.
Some people need it, and some people don't like it. I'd say that's true.
I think back to the squirrel type experiment. What is that experiment where they had each, was it a squirrel or a rat? A mouse? It was mice, I think. And there was always, all the group roles were always fulfilled, and they would rotate, like who would be the leader, who would be the rogue, you know? But I get what you're saying, Riggs. Like some people, maybe it's that some people are always just outclassed in the group to where, not that they can't do it, that there's just maybe something better.
Yeah, like physically capable, maybe, but like for example, let's say you did a bad job in this life, and you reincarnated as like the skin cell of an apple, right? Like that's pretty mundane. Like you're not really, you know, you're important. You know, you're super important. You carry most of the nutrients. You know, you protect the apple. You got some waxy shit on you. You know, excuse my language. Sorry. You got some, you know, you're a little waxy, a little shiny, whatever. You smell good. But yeah, you're about as important as every other part of that apple, though. You know, like it's not an exciting job, but it's your job. And I just think that it takes all parts to make like anything. You need to have all the parts you need to make anything. And some people just aren't built to be those parts. You know, they may have the capability, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't go that way, right? Like they just do not prefer that. Yeah. Like, you know, you have the bold guy, you have the quiet guy. He's always dangerous, right? And then you have, you know, the regulars, and it takes all parts. So I just think, are you pinging me?
Yeah. But I guess like, what I'm saying is, I wonder, as dormant as someone's like leadership would be, like, let's get up, guys. We got to do more. We got to go. We got to prepare. We got to get the food. We got to whatever, prepare, work. Like, whereas someone might always be dormant in like a certain group because there's always like a better alpha for that role. Like, I wonder,
right. Exactly. It's a development, right? Yeah.
But I'm like saying, like, maybe if there's some level to where when they're by themselves or whatever, they still have that responsibility in them, hopefully, but they concede to the next, or, you know, they just give the role to the next guy in the group always. You know what I mean? But maybe because some people act like they can't take care of themselves, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, do some people lack it? Like, totally. Like any motivation, anything. Yeah. Like, can they not even take care of themselves? You know, smart, not brain dead people, but smart people just refuse. Like, they just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's this I think it's this whole thing about cities. Like if you just look at like it's kind of like statistics compared with biology. Like if you get too many kids in one area, then like the mothers stop preferring to have kids, right? Because it's overpopulation or whatever, right? It's like this natural response. So, yeah, like let's say the leaders die, all the leaders die. There's going to be people who pop up and go, "Oh, opportunity," right? And then you're going to get other people like filling in those spaces, and it's like this necessity of nature that things are trying to fill the spot. And if there's too many of those, too many cooks in the kitchen, those kind of problems exist and they recede. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think a lot of us, we have a lot of it in us. Sometimes parts might go to sleep because of our environment keeping us comfortable. But other times, man, that environment shakes you and wakes that shit up, stuff up. Excuse me.
Yeah, dude. Hard times create like a hard man or some shit.
Hard dick.
Whoa! I'm cutting that out.
Man.
Put
I
that
want
in
to
the
say,
soundboard.
Leaders, having a leader is a very interesting topic, but there's so many types of leaders for different things and situations. We need to be specific about what type of leading.
Yeah, I was thinking that at the beginning too. Though. Yeah, absolutely. Like motivators, or
Sometimes, let me speak more. Sometimes a leader could be offering something new, and that's all he needs. It could be completely wrong. But if it feels new and fresh, people might like it.
we know that's the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm back to where, like, I hear you representing that perspective, right and wrong thing. Don. I love that topic, man.
Oh, the right and wrong.
Yeah.
I mentioned it because it's part of the Satanism that I learned.
The sadism?
Satanism.
Satanism. Okay, yes.
From right and wrong. Freedom from someone else's idea of right and wrong.
Yeah, it's like whatever you want. I guess it's kind of like this. Like, if you calculate it right, it was right or correct. And if you had a desire and like you felt like the means did not produce the ends that you were attempting, then you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like if you could justify.
If you feel guilty, that could be evidence that's wrong. But even then, right? It's just you being weak.
Possibly, yes. I guess, and it's like more pushing like the ends justifying the means philosophy. But here's what I'm saying. So, Riggs, check this dynamic: ends justify the means philosophy. If you achieve the ends, then it justifies the means. But if you like miscalculate it or like, I guess falling short, I guess doesn't count. Like I get it's dynamic. Like if your means is not going to produce the ends that you think, then obviously it doesn't justify it. But if you actually achieve it, then maybe it does. But if you're like getting,
dude, it's a like the result is like this probability in like moving island. It's like a moving target,
Yeah.
But it only exists in your mind. So you have to weigh responsibility with you have to weigh responsibility with like risk, and you have to realize, you have to like see where it's gonna, like it's like the hand-eye coordination thing. You have to see where it's going to be in your mind, and then you have to make it happen. And if you don't, then you took that risk. You're responsible. You know what I mean? So
I would say, Don, if you're telling people it's for the greater good, that's not really your ideology. How you sleep well at night. That's what you tell the peasants. Even though you don't like it, we did it for your own good.
Let me just get next whenever you're done. That's all.
We're saying really, it'd be for my good, and I'm just telling.
I'm not sure they can hear you. I can though. Go ahead, Lion.
Well, let me just pull out my mic a little bit. What about now?
Yeah, you're a little muffly. Yeah, go for it.
So from my paradigm, right, as a Christian, if you study the elites, the upper echelon of society, they look at us. They look at us like peasants, like cockroaches. Some of them, right, like cattle, right. And in their ideology, the ends justifies the means, right? So with that theology, they could, because they need to save the planet, need to save the world because of overpopulation. In order to do that, they first have to get rid of a third of us through depopulation agendas, right? Through the vaccine or bioweapons. They want to get rid of us because we're going to destroy the planet. So in order to save the planet, the means is killing a third of the world's population.
And even deeper than that, the means is like treating us like cattle to start with. To justify their ends. Like this.
But what I'm saying is, we know that greater good is our idea, not God's, right? But we'll tell you that's God's greater good that we're doing, the great work. It's actually just our obsession.
Right.
But see, the problem with that theology is that it's an autonomous ideology, as in you make the ultimate decisions as a human being. You're the God of the world. There's nobody above you that you can account to or be held accountable by. So if there's no external judge, right, then you can get away with whatever means necessary to get to the end goal. But there's no one to hold you accountable except yourself. You are the God of the world.
I can come at that though. I can mix that line. Here's why I see that being a mix where like the evil person, I mean, just simply put, the evil person thinks they're serving God. You're like, well, why would they think they're ever serving God? They're just killing others. And like, the Highlander thing or the one thing where like they chop off the head and they get all the power. Like with that type of paradigm, I could see people thinking that they're serving God by being like, I'm absorbing all this nature power and putting